Who's actually going to get the most out of this Alpine shallow mount subwoofer and amp bundle? Who should walk away? And does the price make sense for a typical car audio hobbyist? Those are the three questions that keep popping up in the comment sections of car audio forums. And they're the same doubts you probably have when you stare at the product page and wonder if you're about to spend your money on something that will sit idle in the trunk. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The hesitation usually comes from two angles. First, the fear of buying a sub that's either too big for your vehicle or too weak for the music you love. Second, the worry that the amp that comes with it won't match the sub's capabilities, leaving you with either a mushy bass line or a clipped, distorted roar. Let's break down what the Alpine SSSB12 and KTA 200M combo actually delivers in a daily driver scenario, and see whether the bundle lives up to the hype or just rides on Alpine's brand name. If you spend a lot of time commuting in a compact sedan, you've probably tried to squeeze a decent bass presence into a limited space before. The SSSB12 is marketed as a shallow 12-inch sub, measuring just a little over 5 inches deep. That depth is the key selling point for anyone who has tried to install a conventional 12-inch box in a tight trunk or under a seat. In practice, that means you can mount it behind the rear seat in a mid-size hatchback without sacrificing cargo space, and you don't have to cut out a massive section of the floor pan. I've seen owners of a 2017 Honda Civic Fit actually bolt the SSSB12 into the cargo area and still have room for a grocery run, which is a realistic use case for city dwellers who want a bit of thump without turning the back seat into a storage bunker. The amp that comes with it, the KTA 200M, follows Alpine's familiar 4-channel layout, but it's been tuned to drive a single sub in this bundle. The M version includes a dedicated bass knob that lets you dial in the exact level you need for different playlists or road conditions. In real life, that knob is a lifesaver when you're cruising down a highway and the bass suddenly feels too boomy, or when you're stuck in stop-and-go traffic and the low frequencies start to feel muddy. Having that level of on-the-fly control means you're less likely to end up with a sub that sounds great at one volume, but turns into a rattling box at another. Now, who should definitely consider this bundle? First, anyone who's already committed to Alpine's ecosystem, like those who own Alpine head units, speakers, or have used Alpine amps before, will appreciate the way the KTA 200M talks to the sub. The brand's internal wiring conventions and the way the amp's filters are set up tend to mesh seamlessly with the SSSB12's 2-inch voice coil and neodymium magnet design. If you've got a moderate power budget, say a 300-amp alternator, and you're looking for solid, clean bass that doesn't require a massive box, this bundle checks those boxes. It's also a strong candidate for people who want to upgrade from a stock sub that either whines or sputters at low frequencies. The shallow depth means you won't have to drill new holes or reinforce the floor, which cuts down on installation time and potential DIY mistakes. On the flip side, there are clear scenarios where you'd be better off skipping this bundle. If you drive a large SUV or a truck and have the space for a deeper, larger bore sub, you'll probably want something that can move more air for that thunderous low end you hear in a club. The SSSB12's shallow chamber limits how much air it can push, so while the bass is clean and tight, it won't deliver the cavernous feel that a 12-inch sub in a 2 cubic foot box can. Likewise, hardcore audiophiles who demand subwoofer-level SPL, sound pressure level, for a competition-grade sound system will find the KTA 200M's output a bit modest. The amp is designed to be safe and stable for a wide range of vehicles, but it caps out around 500 watts peak, which is fine for most daily drivers, but may leave you short if you're chasing 800-plus watt peaks. Let's talk about practical strengths that actually matter once the gear is installed. The first is heat management. The SSSB12's lightweight neodymium magnet helps keep the overall temperature down compared to larger iron core designs. In a typical summer drive, the sub stays cool enough that you don't need additional ventilation fans, a small but meaningful convenience if you're not comfortable routing extra wiring for cooling. The second strength is the integration of the Ruxknob Point 2 remote control with telephone cord adapters. That might sound odd, but the adapters let you connect the knob to the factory steering wheel controls, giving you a seamless way to adjust bass without reaching for a separate controller. In my own test with a